Dun Shows World.
Welcome to Shows World Gamers, Josh here, and as this week draws to a close, I wanted to take a moment to look at this week's biggest news stories, gaming announcements, and this week's new video game releases. If this is your first time on the channel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button to join in on the fun. Alright gamers, let's kick off this week in review with a few news stories. Now we did get the big annual September Nintendo Direct this week, where Nintendo gave us a 40-minute showcase packed with games. It kicked off with the announcement for a new Mario vs. Donkey Kong game and F-Zero 99, the latest game to get the Battle Royale makeover, as Nintendo Switch Online account subscribers can go play that game right now. We got to look at a ton of new games. I did a top 5 from the Nintendo Direct video, so I will link that at the end of this video, and we will definitely be seeing a few of the games from the Direct in this week's gaming announcements section of the Week in Review. Also, Sony gave us the big showcase this week as they prepared for next week's Tokyo Game Show with a State of Play, where we got an updated look at some upcoming PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR2 games, including Helldivers 2, a fun-looking online third-person co-op shooter releasing on September 22nd. We did get more info on Spider-Man 2 and the upcoming Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game, along with a new game in the Tales RPG franchise, Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn. Overall, the showcase was a bit underwhelming, but it definitely ended on a high note, as we got the big new release date trailer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the second part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake Collection, which is scheduled to release on February 29th of next year, spanning 2 discs. They keep making sure to point out that it is 2 discs as a selling point. Now, Apple held a big showcase this week where they unveiled their next flagship phone, the iPhone 15 Pro, and it turns out this thing is looking like a gaming powerhouse, with Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil Village, The Division, Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed Mirage all coming to the system natively. Personally, this sounds really cool, but none of these games are games I would play on my phone. I am surprised that Apple has not pushed a better version of Apple TV with a high-quality controller as a gaming device.
Or a backflip.
Next up, let's take a look at some gaming announcements. Now, Mario vs. Donkey Kong was announced, and while it was not the next big Donkey Kong mainline game we were hoping for, I am a huge fan of the past Mario vs. Donkey Kong games. They felt like the continuation of the original Donkey Kong game, where you play as Mario and have to make your way through the levels to foil Donkey Kong's plans. The game is scheduled for release on February 16th, exclusively on the Nintendo Switch, and I will definitely be playing this game. Also, Tantra Operation Galuga was announced for release in 2024, and it looks awesome. It looks like they took the original NES Contra, which is still to this day one of the funnest pick up and play co-op shooter games of all time. They basically took that masterpiece, its awesome level design and unbelievably cool bosses, and just completely revamped the visuals, added new guns, and added 2 more players, allowing 4-player co-op. The game is definitely a must-play for me. I'm ready to enter the Konami code and take on the alien invasion as soon as the game releases next year. Now, Bang on Balls Chronicles received a release date trailer for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series systems, with the game releasing in the already packed October on the 5th. The game is really quirky looking game that looks to be absolutely packed with content, from the destructible open world sandbox adventure with combat, platforming, character customization, and collect-a-thon scavenger hunt experience to the arena style multiplayer. This game looks like a lot of fun. Now, Papucom is a 3D platform co-op puzzle shooter that it looks like it's going to be a really good game. So far, the game has been announced for the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, and PC. In the game, you will need to work together to solve puzzles in order to advance your way through the game and defeat enemies and bosses, with multiplayer gameplay with up to 4 players either online or with couch co-op supported. Now, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is widely recognized as the favorite, among the Paper Mario games. Fans of the franchise have been clamoring for the game to be re-released for years, and in 2024, it is finally happening. The big closeout of the Nintendo Direct was this announcement that the Nintendo GameCube Classic is finally getting a remaster, as Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remaster is coming to the Nintendo Switch in 2024. This was the second game in the fun RPG series, but it took it to the next level in every way, and I highly recommend giving this game a shot when it releases next year. Alright gamers, let's finish up with this week's new game releases. Now, Mortal Kombat 1 entered the arena as it released this week on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series systems, keeping the ball rolling in the fighting game genre. This is a reboot of the series, resetting and changing up the storyline, with a lot of classic characters returning and some new ones. We have already been introduced to some really cool cameo characters with Omni-Man and Homelander. The gameplay looks to be the classic Mortal Kombat fighting style, but with a few added features, like partner characters that can be called in for special moves or during combos. Of course, we still have the blood and fatalities that put this game on the map, so this is definitely a mature-rated game. Now, the Crew Motorfest also released this week on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox One, as well as Xbox Series systems. The game is a beautiful open-world racing game that allows you to explore the islands of Oahu, Hawaii. The game will feature different events with unique challenges and races, with updates coming throughout the year, and will include over 600 different cars. Now, Super Bomberman R2 released on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series systems this week. The game is a party battle puzzle game that can be played on or offline with a ton of different game modes, and modes supporting up to 64 players online. The Bomberman series has always been a lot of fun to play with a few friends, and whether you're new to the franchise or a veteran, this title looks to be a lot of fun. Now, Baiten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster is a remastered combo pack of Baiten Kaitos Eternal Wings in the Lost Ocean and Baiten Kaitos Origins. Both games are back with improved graphics and new features in this combo pack, available now on both the Nintendo Switch as well as on PC. Both RPGs originally released back on the Nintendo GameCube. NASCAR Arcade Rust also released this week on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series systems. Players will experience high-speed races on iconic NASCAR tracks and choose from an array of vehicles spanning 75 years of stock car racing history. The game leaves behind the more realistic simulation-style gameplay for a crazy arcade-style, high-octane, more over-the-top style racing game. Now, Thunder Ray is an indie game that released this week on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series systems. I'm sure as you're watching this trailer, if you are a fan of the classic Nintendo Punch-Out series, you're already super excited for this title, and you definitely should be. This game is heavily inspired by that classic franchise. The game is a classic arcade boxing style game, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on this game, and I'm definitely going to be checking this out as soon as I can. Alright gamers, that concludes this week in review for the week ending on September 15th. The week started with the ESA announcing E3 may still happen in 2024, just not at the LA Convention Center, but will be back in 2025 with an all-new concept. Then, the heavily rumored September General Nintendo Direct did come to fruition. And the week ended with the return of one of the most iconic fighting games of all time as Mortal Kombat 1 released. But let me know anything we may have missed in the comments, and thanks for joining us today, gamers. Shoge World, out.